Right when I thought I had it figured out, the kids moved back in, and suddenly the routines, the quiet, the structure, gone. Welcome to midlife and motherhood, and this phase might be the most humbling yet. Hi again, and welcome to the Founder Series. I'm Dr. Rebbecca Hertel, and this space is all about sharing the behind the scenes of building a practice, a brand, and a life that feels aligned. In today's episode, we're switching gears and talking about the present, what it looks like to be a founder and a mom right now, with grown kids moving back in and everything shifting again. So the older kids moved back in. So we had half the kids graduated, and two of them actually, were had been out for, let's see, 5, 6 years. And this July 1st, we have a full household again. So that's been awesome, and it's been crazy. And there's this huge mix of, oh my gosh, my house is like full again with all that laughter and just like craziness. But also structure went out the window, and a little overwhelming just because I'm not the same mom I was when they were all back home, meaning I'm not doing their laundry and I'm not, doing dinners every night and all of the other things. And so I think they're also getting used to the fact that like I'm in a transition and doing so many of these things, and I'm just like, hey, podcasting, everybody needs to keep it down, or I've got some discovery calls going on, you guys, so I'm going to be out here, or I'm working on the weekend. I'm, taking other phone calls. I'm doing lectures. I'm watching lectures. I'm watching webinars. So I think that's been a readjustment for everyone in the home. So yeah, but it's been great. There's good parts, there's hard parts. I have a routine that has been my way for so many years, and the older kids have had a routine that's been their way for so many years. Not only are we have a med school student back home, I have a daughter that's now graduated from college and off doing a big girl job. Her recently got engaged. So when I thought I had three older kids, okay, this is cool, this part, now I can focus on the other three that are still home. What I didn't realize is it's a whole separate transition. Now there's engagements and engagement parties and weddings, and there's going to be med school graduations. And so now I'm starting to be a mom of adult children that have adult careers and adult things happening, right? And so I've had to make that shift. It was very overwhelming for a bit. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't breathe. I need a moment to breathe. You just graduated college, and now we got to celebrate an engagement, which I'm ecstatic about. Her fiance is an amazing man. They have an amazing family. I just need a moment to like sit back and just be like, okay, I want to properly be excited and properly help now have this engagement party and not take away from any of that excitement. So I've had to really navigate some of that too. And then we still have the 8-year-old that likes to snuggle at night and that in love with mom still and would, crawl back in if he could, quite honestly. He's just like, mom is my person. So we've started to create these new rhythms, and I had open dialogue and discussion. And honestly, I'm like, we need a family meeting. And we were all out on the patio, and my second oldest daughter had her journal out, and she's okay, taking notes. She's the note taker. And we went around and we were just, okay, everyone needs a dish day. You want Monday, you want Tuesday, you want Wednesday. And if you can't do your dish day, then you need to find another person to switch with, just like you would in a real job. Same thing for dinners. I don't make dinner every night. So you make dinner on Monday. Who wants to, and everyone's raising their hand. Okay, who wants to take Wednesday? Okay, me. All right, perfect. Laundry. We cannot not all be doing our laundry on Sunday. That does not work. There are 9 people living in this house. And don't even get me started on the amount of animals that are in this house. We have a turtle. We have 3 cats. We have 3 dogs. We have a bunny, and we have a lizard. So I am just like, okay, the dog don't eat the bunny because the bunny's really old. My daughter's 14. She got him when he was like 3 or 4. I have my daughter and her fiance. They have got the 3 cats and 1 dog living. They live downstairs in the basement. And so that's where the gym is. So you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm infringing on your space. I'm sorry. The kids are wanting to go down there to pet the cats. They got to start learning to ask because it's really their apartment. The oldest is rooming with a 14-year-old, which is kind of nice because a 14-year-old needs a little watching over. So anyway, back to the meeting. So we all went around and we're just like, okay, let's have laundry days and let's have dinner days and let's have dishes day. And if you can't do your job on your day, then like a real job, you need to find someone that can take your spot and switch, including the outside, right? I don't pay for landscaping, which I would love to pay for landscaping. My husband will not let me pay for landscaping. So they're on the riding lawnmower, they're trimming the hedges. Can we get someone to do this, please? And, taking care of the pool and putting the pool cover back on. I mean, just like all these like little things. So we did that. It was really helpful. It was really nice. And what I've had to learn to do is not say yes to everything and not, but also not blow up at them. If I don't feel respected or my space is respected, or all of a sudden our grocery bill is going out of the roof or someone's leaving all their stuff out, I can't let that upset me and not be like, hey guys, listen, are we eating all the food before we order more groceries? Because the grocery bill was astronomical, right? Weekly, if you think about at least $100 a week per person in this house. So at least $100 per person a week. That's not counting protein bars, ice cream, pet food, all the things, right? So supplements, and we have a board. So we have a dry erase board where like everything's got to go on the board. And you've got to erase the board when you've already gotten the stuff. So we can put new stuff on the board, right? It's right there. You're killing me, Smalls. Let's get the board. Let's get it straight, people. It's because, listen, when somebody takes my last pack of gum and then I don't have gum, mom's gonna freak out a little bit. Or if I go for something like put your name on it, put your name on it, or it's gone. If you want to save it, you best put your name on it. Otherwise, someone is going to eat your food. There is 9 people here and a bazillion animals. It is a small zoo. I'm like AB, right? Like I've learned to let go of a lot of the mess and the clutter, but also the mess and the clutter makes me anxious. And so there's an amount that I'm okay with, an amount where I'm just like, okay, guys, I can feel myself suffocating. Can we like get the like 20 pairs of shoes that really only 10 shoes can fit in that little area? The rest of them need to go into your rooms, please. Because there's so many people, then if everyone leaves out a little bit of something, it's a huge mess and it's a big clutter. And for the love of God, please just wipe off the counters. When you spill something, wipe off the counter, even if you're not sure that something is on there. There is something on there. There just is. Assume there is and just automatically wipe it down. It's so easy. So those times it's equal to, this is what my perimenopause brain sees. It's like an eighth of a teaspoon of pre-workout on the counter, probably. Maybe half of a teaspoon. I'll even give you a full teaspoon. My perimenopausal brain see the Sahara Desert on the countertop. I always thought about doing a social reel. What they see, the tablespoon of pre-workout. What mom sees is like this pile of, sand on top of the counter. That's what my brain is seeing. And I'm just like into orbit. So you have to let go of some of those things, but I think they're still like, okay, we're not animals. You guys need to clean up after yourselves. We have to empty the dishwasher. The dishwasher starts twice a day now. And y'all got to empty it. Yes, I'm like, we don't recycle because out in the country, it's really hard to recycle around here. And we do a whole thing. It's a whole thing. And when Amazon comes with 10 boxes a day, legit, I love Amazon. I would shop every day there. Yeah, that's an issue. And I used to hate Walmart and love Sam's Club. And now that I realize that Walmart actually delivers to my house groceries, give it here. Give it here. I ordered school supplies, delivered that day. Okay, the third grader's ready to go. But yeah, meal prepping, right? Like meal prepping, you got to make sure there's eggs. So every Sunday, my husband and I meal prep our breakfast and our lunches for the entire week. So if there's not enough, when you're seeing things be depleted, put it on the board. Or I don't know what to order. Or I've really given up the groceries, which is why most of them starve because no one bought groceries like mom does. So we're always out of something because I'm like, nope, it is a plate that I stopped carrying. Y'all know how to order groceries. Like I had 10 in my 2 hands. I can't carry 10 plates in my 2 hands. So y'all got to take some, right? Yeah. I've also had to learn that they're also adults. Give them those things. They have feelings, they have ways that they do things, but open communication. I've said so many times, I'm like, I love that you all are here. There is no rush to leave. I want you to find a place when you are ready and to save and all of this. I said, but these are just the things that I need in this space. That's all. And what can I do different? I've asked that question. What can I do different too to make it easier for you? You are not an inconvenience. I don't want anyone to think that. I love having them home. The joy and the conversation and the laughter, having everyone here. I forgot how much I missed that. And just, the goofiness of everyone. I love that. The dogs are insane. They have to play outside because my entire living room will get, and then mom has anxiety over that. Yeah. I was like, no zoomies on the furniture. Zoomies on the furniture. Okay. It's a thing. I didn't know it was a thing, but it is a thing. Running back and forth to each couch. The turtle's like watching it. He like picks his head up for legitimately and is like, well, I'm just like, I don't even know what's happening here at all. So my rituals that help me stay focused are definitely my workouts. It's funny because as I've now watched my older children, especially my oldest son, like working out for him is his stress relief too, which is mine completely. Even on the days where like this week's been really difficult for me to actually get my ass out and up, and I've been dealing with some neck stuff and shoulder stuff and just not sleeping well. My husband's like, well, why don't you just skip and have a rest day? And I was like, are you crazy? You're going to be asking me to go downstairs before the end of the day to go do something because I'm going to be an asshole. And so, like, I know better. I know myself. Even, and then of course I was like, what was I already a shitty lift and workout week anyway? I can't take a day off. So that's how my brain works. Just sends all these feel good hormones to my brain and I need it. And even if it's not great, you still need it. And so, yeah, you got to learn to let go of a lot of control, and which sometimes is fine. I'm just like, you do it. Don't ask me. Don't ask me every little thing. You do it. It's fine. But I think in the same sense, they're just like, yeah, but if we fuck it up, mom is gonna go through the roof. Point taken. Okay, point taken. The struggle's real. You're just like, okay, okay. So yeah, it's just crazy. So it doesn't stop at home. Being a mom and a founder, started to kind of start bleeding into each other again, right? So the med school insaneness, the residency craziness, where I, as a mom of small children and nursing in between rotations and going to school functions and all of these things, we're back here and I am here with a full house of kids and navigating all of their life changes, which are so cool, and trying to be supportive and trying to be present for those changes, present for the younger ones, right? I have one starting high school, so that's a transition. And then I'm transitioning as a midlife woman. I'm transitioning into a different place where my work is becoming not more important than my family, but very important to me as a person, as I am just growing into a different space in life. So I'm can focus on myself a little bit more, and being a business owner now, still in an insurance model, seeing, 100 patients a week, and then seeing also my own patients in my own practice, and, working on that stuff at night and still taking phone calls for building that practice, and do podcasts and lecturing and webinars and my own personal education. I'm constantly listening to something. It's always something in my ear. So, yeah, so that I think has kind of helped those overlapping roles of, okay, I can am I still a leader of my household? Do I need to be a leader of my household? And how does that look now? And being a leader in my business and entrepreneurship, there can be clashes between those when I'm just like, you have to take care of the family. It's been really awesome because honestly, the kids coming back in, we really had an understanding. You guys come in, I'll pretty much take care of as much as I can, but what I do need from you is maybe I need you to pick up your brother and sister. Maybe I need you guys to do some drop-offs and pickups to practices. Can you help here and help there? I can financially help you guys become more financially set for the next however long, but I need then this from you. Can you be present? If I go away for a conference, can you step in and take care of your, three younger siblings? So that's been a really great dynamic. The kids have been really great about that. The older kids, because we all work together, but now that we have older adults and younger kids, they're almost like two separate families in one family, if that makes sense at all. And so that's where it's been really helpful. I think also in the same respect, you are modeling values for all of my children to know, like, this is so important to be grounded in yourself, number one, right? Like, I don't think I did that as well as a younger mom. I don't think I was grounded as well. I don't think I cared about my mental health. I just don't think I knew how to be cognizant of it and take care of it, to set boundaries for sure, and really just to kind of be a badass and go for your dreams. If you don't go for it at some point, you're never going to do it. And you don't know what that future will be. And you don't know what the answer is going to be. I'll tell you, my oldest daughter was thinking about not applying for med school because she wanted to she wanted to like wait a year and she was thinking about retaking the tests. And I said to her, I said, listen, apply. Because what if you get in? What if you get in? If you don't apply, though, then you know you're not going to get in. The worst thing they're going to say is no, but you'll always wonder. And sure enough, she did it and she got in. If she never would have applied, she wouldn't be where she is today. And I think that's with anything with our kids. We hard work, perseverance, be humble, be a good person. Those are important values that I set, for myself and hope that, my children understand that as well. It's so important that it's the golden rule, really. And I think we've lost it a lot, especially since COVID. That lack of human connection can be devastating, I think. And so we need to learn to get back to just kindness and being human to each other. And those are always the things I've always, you work hard. Nothing comes for free. Nothing is luck. It's always some type of hard work and sometimes stepping out on a limb and making yourself uncomfortable, which I am not good at. I hate being uncomfortable. You have to do it. You have no choice but to be uncomfortable. And every time you do it, you'll get more comfortable with being uncomfortable, if that makes sense. Being a med student, every rotation, I was like scared to death. Even in starting residency, I'm just, oh my God, I don't know how to write for any medications. And then by the end of residency, you're doing all the code blues and all the rapid responses, and you're delivering babies, and you're intubating people. I mean, all the things. You're the smartest person coming out of residency, in all honesty. You remember so much. And then as you like not use it all, you start to lose it and it all goes away a little bit. I mean, you can recall things, but when you don't always use everything that you learned, then it's a little different. And that's okay too. So I think juggling a lot of different hats. I think also when you're used to going all the time, I would say I snooze. My alarm goes off at like 10 to 5 and I snooze it a couple times. By like 5:15, 5:20, I'm up. I'm up to go downstairs to work out. And then I used to do it after work and while the kids were at practice. And then since COVID though, it was just easier for me to do it before work. So I do it before work. And then I'm up, I'm out. I live about 25 minutes away from my insurance-based practice. And so I have to be there before 8 o'clock and do, whatever drop offs. My husband helps get the younger kids, and some of the older kids help get the younger kids put together. And then I, will see patients for the day, come home, and I'm doing either meetings or I'm doing phone calls. I'm doing kid pickup. It's probably, 3 years really since I started my whole perimenopause journey. When I started really studying again, everything was kind of easy because I worked and then I did all the mom stuff. I don't even know how many years now. It's been like really in the midlife phase of life and space. I have constantly been learning, just constantly, right? So I first needed to take courses to learn everything about midlife and menopause care and how to practice and how to prescribe. And then I had to take a test. So I had to study for that. And then you have to, see patients and keep applying and really keep studying. There's so much information out there that we just never got, and so much education that we never got. Fascinated with it. And I, like I said, I am a course whore for sure. Like every course on menopause and midlife and perimenopause, I'm like, sign me up. It's a ridiculous amount of money that we've all spent and put into this, but it's worth every penny. And then I started moonlighting a year ago for a different telemedicine company and then launched on my own January, so almost 8 months now. And so, but with that, I had to learn all of these things. I took some of the things I learned from being with this other company, which was really good, and being a parent, you're like, okay, you want your kids to take everything that was good that you did and then change the things that maybe weren't so good. So it's the same thing. You take everything that you learned from this company and then change it to help, change the things that you thought, okay, maybe this didn't resonate with me. I will need to make some changes here. But it's constantly learning. Even what I started with in January is not where my practice is running now, as far as memberships or the way I'm seeing patients or the things that I'm doing or the things that I'm offering. And it's constantly changing. And the bigger entrepreneur network that you have, the better. When you can speak with other clinicians in this space who are doing it on their own, the direct care, concierge care, private business owners, social media, telemedicine, all of those things. So that network is really important to find too. Everyone has a different idea. and they're all good. You're like, oh, I didn't think about that. And then somebody else takes your idea and says, I didn't think about that. Can we share some templates? So that's really important to have a network as well. And it's just a matter of finding your people and people that you can resonate with and trust as well. And who you don't feel are competing with you unnecessarily. That's really important. So competition can be a good thing. It can definitely keep you on your toes if you're just like, okay. And it can be a motivator for sure. But when it is unfriendly and when you feel like it has a narcissistic ring to it and unhealthy and toxic, then you need to leave that behind. You will find it. You will find it in business. You will find it in relationships. And those are the hard ones sometimes to actually see through and then remove yourself from. So those have been some learning things that we've actually, talked to our kids about too. Those types of relationships and not trying not to be, the gullible kid. Or sometimes your friends really aren't your friends. And that's a tough realization in life. It's a very good life lesson. It's a very tough life lesson, especially when you're more of a giver, just because you would never treat somebody that way. I always tell my kids, just because you wouldn't treat somebody that way doesn't mean that someone's not going to treat you that way. And you just need to be aware of that. This season has been definitely, it's challenged me for sure, but it's also clarified a lot of things. So we're going to break that down. One challenge I'm currently facing, well, there's a couple. The big one is I just can't learn enough. I legit have tabs open for longevity medicine, peptides, lifestyle medicine, menopause, all of these things, because I'm just like, oh my gosh, I love it all. I want to be able to do it all and learn it all. There's not enough hours in my day to do this. And so it's a little bit every day. And like, do I get obesity medicine certified? All of those things I love, and there's not enough hours in my day at all. I wish I could take like a month off and just do these courses and figure out what exactly it is. And just do it all and get certified in whatever it is that I want. I don't know. Would that be enough? Maybe that's my issue. Is it ever enough? Rebecca, is it ever enough? Or are you just going to go on to the next thing? I don't know if that's good or bad, but I do fully believe in lifestyle medicine and longevity care and precision midlife care. And the fact that fine tuning someone's care so that way they have the longest, healthiest life is the way medicine should be practiced and is the way that I want to practice medicine and like to practice medicine, and I think is the future of medicine as well. So, I mean, there's some method to my madness because it's so intriguing. I want to be like, yeah, I want to live longer, but I don't want to live longer not being able to do some really cool shit. I want to be able to, travel when like my bazillion children grow up. But then I'm going to be a grandparent and it's never going to end at all. You're just going to have to be like, I'm going for a couple weeks. So I think that that's part of my challenge is trying to fit it all in and figure out what the hell do you want besides the private, your private practice to grow and to lecture more and, to teach people and to teach, young physicians and older physicians and all of those things. So yeah, wanting all of those things and sometimes wanting it all at once. Being patient is not my virtue at all. I'm terrible at it. I've had to learn to be better with it. Like I want it all at once. And it's not that I don't want to put the work in. I'll put the work in. But like you have to sit and let it grow. You have to sit and be okay, you're going to come to me. Why should you ask me to come, lecture on stage or interview me or whatever? Well, because damn it, I know a lot of stuff and I can give you some really cool stuff to talk about. But really, it's just kind of waiting for those moments to happen. And I'm not very good at that, but I'm trying to be better. I'm really forced to be better because it's a challenge. So that's kind of what I've learned. You know what? Don't beat yourself up over because someone's not calling you or emailing you to come do things for them. You know where your ethics lie. You know where you are humble. You are doing good things. You are taking care of people. I'm boots on the ground. I'm taking care of, all of these women. And so be patient with the process. Things will happen. And sometimes it's not what we think should happen. The universe has its own agenda. So watching and waiting for it, I'm trying to be better at allowing things to just run its course and to happen organically. It's difficult though. So it's difficult to be patient. When I want something, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to go get that. But they're like, no, wait for your birthday. I'm like, I'm not waiting for my birthday. I want it. I'm going to go buy it. It is a side effect of being driven. Yeah. So I think it does come from a place of achieving and proving to myself maybe too that you're worthy of these things. I think when you grow up without much and worked hard and you've been, a child survivor of different than a survivor of, losing important people in your life. I think in not that I'm the only one, there's multiple people out there that have survived all of these things too. But I need to make sure that I do these things right. I need to make sure that I live my life to the fullest because I've been given this opportunity to be alive, be into medical school, when my sister isn't here with me to enjoy it, although she would 100%. And maybe one time I'll talk about like the crazy medium event that I had, and it was really interesting. But anyways, that's for another segment. But we'll get into when a doctor and a medium get together. So it was crazy. I think that you're given one life to live, and sometimes when someone's life has been taken early and you have to appreciate the gifts that you were given, even though you may not understand the why. And so I need to make sure that I try to understand that why and make the best of it. I always think that it then makes her proud wherever she is. And yeah, that's it. I think my upbringing is a really big driver. And I think showing my kids, one thing I always tell my patients, see, I have a really great community in my insurance-based model, and I do serve an underserved community. And a lot of times we'll get into talking about trauma, and we sit there and we'll talk back and forth, whether it be female or male, right? And I'll say, listen, your trauma doesn't define who you are. It'll never define you. It will mold you. It will be maybe a motivator. What you choose to do with that experience and how it gets affected. Does it change your brain chemistry? Yeah, we know childhood trauma changes our brain chemistry for sure. I also know that you can't allow that to not allow you to move forward and to achieve the goals that you've set for yourself. And so a lot of times that's a motivator for me too, because I didn't get here from my parents being physicians, from anybody giving this to me. This was from someone who did a lot of work through a lot. And I don't want to take that for granted, but it's a nice talking point with patients when I can say to them, hey, you know what? I went through that too. And let me tell you, when we either talk about grief or losing someone loved or other traumas, there are times that it's been able to allow me to talk with my patients when I'm just like, I get it. I understand you. I feel that. And let me help you get through that. That's not okay, or that's not acceptable. We see it all from child abuse to domestic violence to, grief of loss of children or spouses and whatnot. So listening also to all of those stories, I think also motivates me to continue doing what I do in whatever space it is that I'm doing it in. It is an overused strength, 100%. And I think sometimes we continue to be busy to not deal with some of the other stressors in life also. So it's a double-edged sword. You can also be so busy and so caught up and always going on to the next thing because that keeps you from dealing with other things also in life. And so you do need to watch for that. And I am probably guilty of that too. Even though you're successful, maybe you're not dealing with some of the other stressors or grief or whatnot in your life. So those are important things too, to just take a step back, lean into, and realize or understand it. The other thing, a little off topic, but I think is interesting as I retell my story, is it's my story, it's my perceptions of my life. So there may be people out there that say, oh, that's not how it happened, or I don't remember that, or that's not the way I said it, or whatever. But I will tell you, I read another physician's book, which was really good. And one of the things she said was that was their perception of how the event occurred. That was not my perception at this age or at this time of how something occurred. So your story is your story, and your story is also the perception of what you feel like happened at that time. Whether an adult perception is different, as it probably is or was, versus when you were younger or at a different age. So I just think that we need to stop and remember that too when we're talking about like memoirs, because that is a perception or a story of how I saw it through my eyes at the time that I saw it, if that makes sense at all. As a matter of fact, that is why in the, literature, and that a lot of times abused children will not remember being abused at all. And then later in life, something will trigger their memory. And then all of a sudden, all these flashbacks come back and they remember, and not just abused children, but like traumatic events. It will wipe it out completely from their memory. And I've had that happen. I've had relationships that have not been very nice. And I remember my mom distinctly asking me about, hey, I remember you telling me that. And I was like, my goodness, it was completely gone from my memory. I did not recall it at all until she triggered that memory. And then it all comes like flooding back. And so that is true. Traumatic events, it is your brain's way of protecting you. And even traumatic events in medicine, like when you're seeing things, that's why when you talk about med school and residencies, there's a lot of things that we may not remember because it was trauma, whether you were actually involved in the trauma or taking care of trauma or whatever. It's protection of that brain, right? Because we couldn't do our job if every traumatic event that we saw or witnessed or were a part of was devastating. You couldn't do your job. So you do have to form a little bit of like apathy and like pulling yourself out of the moment. I'll remember that, as a matter of fact, distinctly when my 20-year-old son was, I think, 4, and he choked. I mean, like choked. I was at my best friend's house. She was a resident. We were both residents. He was running down her hallway with imminent. And I'm talking to her in the kitchen. He comes running back and he's like hitting, they hit you and you're just like, what? I'm like, what? Like legit, I remember being like, what? And I looked at him and his hands were like up and down and his knees were up and down. And it was like the most deafening silence I've ever heard. The most deafening silence I ever heard. And I remember grabbing him, picking him up, Heimliching him like 6, 7, 8 times. And the M&M flew out. One, sent him back down. Deafening silence. And I mean, when they talk deafening, I picked him back up, Heimlich him again, nothing. I like put him over my lap, beating the living what out of him. My best friend's watching me because, and I'll tell you what she said later, but I'm doing everything I can. And the only thing that's going through my head is like, he's going to pass out. I'm going to have to do abdominal thrust. And then I'm going to have to give him an airway. Like, I'm going to have to do this. Finally, a second M&M flies out and he vomits all over and I hold him and I just like shrink down to the ground and I lose it. And he's got petechiae hemorrhages all around his eye. And I remember looking at my best friend and she goes, Rebecca, I can't even, still to this day, right? So he was 4, he's 20. Still to this day, she's like, I will never forget the look on his face. I will never forget how calm you were. And I will never forget thinking, oh my God, what if she gives him to me? What am I going to do different to save his life? Like he was literally suffocating in my hands. I will never forget that. And how we do things like that, you just do it. My son was gonna die, if you know what I mean. That was probably the most traumatic, most traumatic event. As a resident, like thank God I knew what I knew. I think it was my last year actually. So I mean, like you're really a badass your last year of residency. And I was just legit. I was ready to like freaking give that kid an airway. Don't even talk about it. Do you know how to do anything if your kid suffocates? Like, I mean, choking is not abnormal. I'm still a freak about that stuff. And it happens. Ever since then, I'm a freak about like no running with food in your mouth. I mean, that is an old rule, but my parents told me no running. This is why you don't run because he didn't choke just on one, on two, two. Who aspirates 2 peanut M&Ms? They're so big. Yeah. And then same thing with like in the car. There's no eating in the car without somebody back there with you because if you choke, what am I going to do? I'm going to freak out, hopefully not get into an accident, and then have to get down, take the time to pull over, unbuckle your ass, and then Heimlich you. But I did Heimlich my best friend when I was 8 months pregnant at our office. She was choking on some chicken. She came running back. The same thing, because you just don't know, right? She comes running back, and I'm like, what? She's she was my nurse, and then we became best friends, and then she was my office manager. And anyway, she comes running back, and I'm like, what? Freaking big ass belly out to here. And she's choking on a damn piece of chicken. Yeah, Heimlich her 8 months pregnant. A lot of people have better stories than mine, but I'll tell you what, it's crazy. It is crazy. So not always graceful, but it's honest. And honestly, I think that's enough. That's for sure. Have growth. Sometimes that's not linear, oftentimes, for sure. I mean, I have some great months where I'm like 10 new patients, and then a quiet month where you're just like, oh my God, I suck. No one loves me. No one cares. No one wants to book with me. What's wrong with me? And you just need to be like, girlfriend, stop getting in your feels. This is business. It's fine. They probably have a lot of stuff going on too. That's kind of lessons in leadership and motherhood, parenting, all of those things is like, growth is not linear. You'll have some really, really great times. And that's the same thing with parenting. Really, really great times. You're like, damn, I'm a good parent. And then other times you're like, oopsie, hit her head on a clothing rack when I turned. That probably wasn't very graceful. And I hope nobody saw that one, because good job, mom, or like you. All those, you make those mistakes, especially as a first time parent. And you definitely give yourself grace with that. But leadership, the lessons you learn sometimes are like being a new mom. It's a learning process, and you're going to have great leadership learning moments and not so great leadership learning moments. And those are okay, because ultimately those are the good leadership moments, are the days that aren't going great, or those are the times you really are learning, how to navigate this world a little bit, and at least learning about people. And you can't take it to heart, because there'll be some really, really good days and not some good days. And sometimes you'll learn from those. Oftentimes you'll learn from those. Every minute, every day, you should be taking some lesson home with you. There's always a lesson of a day, whether it's, oh, I shouldn't have went outside with my shoes off because I stepped on a rock. Sometimes it's just a simple lesson like that, or it's a bigger lesson. And there's definitely truth about your identity in midlife, and it definitely changes in who you were in your 20s and 30s, and even sometimes your early 40s are not who you're going to be in your mid to late 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. For sure, there is that old saying about just wisdom with time, and that changes you, and changes you, hopefully for the better. That's up to you, I suppose, to let it change you for the better. And I'm going to end with that. Thanks for being here with me. If you're navigating your own return to chaos, just know we can hold big dreams and real life at the same time. I'll see you next time as we go deeper into the next phase of building and healing. Thank you for being here with me on the Founder Series. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I would love for you to subscribe to the podcast, and make sure that you follow along with me, and follow on all the social platforms as well, Instagram, Facebook, all the things. And I'll see you next time.